Mr. Dukes, I had a sleepless night last night thinking about how I should sentence you. On one hand, as Mr. Vigalucci said, you have been cooperative throughout this entire process. You have grieved with the death of Mr. Lowther. I've heard from the officers that you are the only defendant that cried when you heard that he passed away. You're the only one that showed any remorse, any compassion, and you were truthful. With your testimony and the evidence that you produced for the officers and the prosecutor's office, they were able to put this entire case together. It's an airtight case. I heard the evidence. It's airtight. And thanks in large part because of you. But on the other hand, Mr. Dukes, that night you had many options. You drove that vehicle that transported these people to the scene. You picked up Jody Fetty. Jody Fetty would not have been involved if it had not been for you placing her in the front seat with you. So you involved her right off the start. And prior to that, she had no knowledge of Jonathan Dukes or Cortez Oliver. Sir, what did you think was going to happen when they went back to the house the second time? When they knew the old man was sitting up watching TV? Did you think that he was just going to open the door and say, "Come on in, gentlemen, steal my coins"? What did you think was going to happen? Truthfully, what did you think? I just want to know for my own, well, because you were not raised this way. I just want to know.
I just thought, you know, that would do a little bit of harm and take this stuff.
A little bit of harm. They had no mask, so he could identify him. What did you think?
I didn't think everyone was going.
Again, I know your family, they did not raise you this way, and hopefully you will reconsider your entire life and reconstruct it while you're sitting in prison. I am going to find, because of the serious nature of this crime, that the defendant is not amenable to community control sanctions, that a prison term is warranted. Mr. Dukes, will you please rise? On the charge of aggravated burglary, felony of the first degree, I am going to sentence Mr. Dukes to 7 years in the Ohio Department of Corrections. On the charge of aggravated robbery, a felony of the first degree, I am going to sentence the defendant to 8 years in the Ohio Department of Corrections. Again, because of the serious nature of this offense and the fact that the defendant received a break with the nullification of the complicity to murder charge, I am going to run those sentences consecutive to one another. I will credit the defendant with any time served to date. He will pay his court costs and fines within 10 years. The defendant, as a convicted felon, may not own or possess any firearms. He will be subject to post-release control pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 2967.28. If he violates the terms of his post-release control, he will receive an additional prison term not to exceed 50% of his original prison term. The post-release control period in this particular case, period of 5 years, the potential penalty up to 7.5 years. Mr. Dukes, again, I hope at least you look like you have a soul and some compassion. And I hope that you can make your life a better life while in prison. My best to you.